All right, man. So it looks like we got some absolutely breaking news here. So we got a new poll that shows that Kamala Harris is actually surging in a solid red state. Now, I would not call this a blood red state, like a state like Arkansas, for example, where it's like plus 28 for Donald Trump last time around, or Oklahoma. Like, those are super, super red states. Iowa, I think at one point was considered kind of a bit of a toss-up. I think Obama probably carried in '08. But it is solid red. It went about 8 points in favor of Trump back in 2020. But we got some crazy numbers here. And we're also going to discuss here some other polling numbers as well for Kamala Harris, where she's actually surging in Republican states. I'll have a link to an article on my website, theprogressforce.com, down below. Also, you can go read that article as well. It breaks it down. You can share that to other people. But here it says Iowa presidential polling poll. Trump R 47%, Harris D 43%, Kennedy I 6%. This is absolutely massive news because this brings the number only down to 4 percentage points in terms of a deficit. It's about half what happened in 2020. In fact, we have the 2020 results here. It says Trump R 53.1% to Biden D 44.9%. So again, that is about 8.2 percentage points. And so the proportion, in terms of proportion, is half. She's half the polling lead right now. And we can actually go ahead and take a look at these poll numbers. But before we even get into that, there's actually even something really funny that we could actually look at as well. Check this out before we even get here. So if you can see this tweet from the day prior the poll came out. So in anticipation of the poll dropping, this guy says, "Be glad with tomorrow's Iowa poll if it's Trump plus 12 to 15. If it's between Trump plus 8 to 11. Let's go if it's over Trump 15. And man, it's fucking 4, bitch." That's crazy. So just giving you some good perspective as to what people were expecting and those kinds of things. But let's go ahead and check out the Iowa polling numbers. So we can see this from 2024. We can see a massive, massive surge. So the prior signal poll that was taken back in July 8th through 9th, this is actually sponsored by a Republican pollster. It has Donald Trump plus 12 over Joe Biden, so an 8-point gain from there. The past Selzer poll, actually 632 likely voters, almost identical likely voter sample size, June 9th through 14th. It's sponsored by the same sponsor, Des Moines Register, Mediacom. We can see Trump plus 18 from there. It does appear to be a 14-point surge in favor of Kamala Harris. So really huge surges from Biden 2024 numbers. We see the fake Kennedy numbers here. The prior poll numbers for really, really early 2024 in February has Trump 15 in the same exact poll against Biden. This signal poll is Trump plus 9. We have the Zogby Strategies poll. Trump is up 12. Emerson, Trump plus 8, plus 10, Signal plus 13, plus 10, etc. So you can see an absolutely gigantous surge in favor of Kamala Harris, and you have to at some point sort of kind of ask yourself what's going on here. Because we see there's multiple states where this is happening. We're going to take a look at multiple states here. But first, we should look back at 2020 and look at what the polls look like. So the final Selzer poll was actually by far and away the best poll that was involved. The Selzer polls that came before around our time this year actually were not good, but hopefully that means that they've switched up their methodology and they know where they went wrong. But what you have here is you can see October 26th through 29th, this is back in 2020, 814 likely voters, Selzer Co, the Des Moines Register, Mediacom, Biden 41%, Trump 48%, that's Trump plus 7. So this is exactly basically the margin. They were only off by about 1 point, as you guys saw earlier. So it's a really, really accurate pollster. It's not even like, oh, well, hey, it's a Democrat biased pollster or anything like that. No, that's not the case. Their prior polls weren't good, though. They were even a plus 1, but they got it right at the end. So hopefully they're carrying on that methodology and able to get it accurately here. So massive situation here. But, they have some EVs. It probably won't flip. But again, we don't care about flips. We just want to continue surges. But we do have to ask the question because we can also take a look, at the state of Arkansas, for example. If we do take a look here at Arkansas in 2024, we can see there's this Hendrix College poll that took place. It's basically brand spanking new, September 5th through 6th. I know you may say, well, it's the 15th or 16th, but there's basically no polls here. So September 5th through 6th is absolutely massive. But what we can see here is Trump is actually plus 15. You may be like, how is that good? Well, Trump actually won by about 28 points back in 2020, so it's a surge of about 13 points against the 2020 results. Back in October, the last poll we have with Biden that's not from Zogby Strategies, what we have is Biden 24%, Trump 57%, that's Trump plus 32. Echelon Insights had Trump plus 25 back in August of 2023. So we can see massive surges compared to literally everything here. Similarly, if we take a look at the Hendricks College poll, the average in the aggregate was 23 points for Donald Trump, and it ended up being 28. And you can see that this Hendricks College poll was Trump plus 25, their final poll in October. So about like 3 weeks from now, basically. Trump 25, this is actually the closest poll to actually getting it correct. They were the closest. But they might have had earlier polls that weren't as good. So hopefully, again, we have a situation where sort of like the good methodology continues moving forward. But again, another really, really good pollster from here. And then also we have something happening in Oklahoma. So the state of Oklahoma, what we have is there's actually a surge going on where in the polls, in this recent Sooner poll that dropped, she's only down 16 points. The Signal polls had Biden down 30 and 33. So there does appear to be like this big surge happening for Kamala Harris in these sort of red states. Could it be bad polling is one possibility. I feel like it's too many states for it to just be bad polling though. And the other thing I would say is there's probably maybe some kind of closeted MAGA vote. I think this is what I talked about in the article that I had written on the website. So go check that out. But the idea basically is that, there's some either closeted MAGA voters or closeted women voters who, the women voters are, feeling like they're controlled by their husband. And so they have to hide who they're voting for, etc. But they are going to vote for Kamala Harris or want to vote for Kamala Harris. But that vote is being hidden because they're afraid of like retaliation. And so even in polls, and also if you're somebody who has family members or friends who are people who were prior MAGA voters who have flipped, definitely comment down below and kind of let me know about that and kind of what that's like, and also whether or not those people would actually answer in polls saying that they're no longer MAGA voters would also be another one. So definitely let us know down below in the comment section. The anecdotal stuff can be really helpful. I know Nikki Haley also missed about 11% in the polls in Michigan. She was polling at about 15% on the election day in the primary, and she ended up getting 26. So I'm not sure if there's some kind of silent, maybe moderate conservative vote that's happening where they feel kind of embarrassed to respond to the polls. I'm not sure if that's what it is. But I feel like there's just too much smoke for there to be zero fire, where she's like surging all of a sudden in all of these states. Another possibility too is, there are a lot of black people, minorities in these states and even rural areas. We saw that in the article that we had read about, Georgia, when we were talking about the tour bus that they were taking through Georgia. I think they said like something like 40% of like rural areas are minorities and stuff like that. So maybe it's that kind of thing. Also going to be looking at another article that actually says that enthusiasm is higher than 2008 for black Americans. So a lot of really major stuff going on here, but those are the only things that I can personally think of. Polling errors, maybe more diverse rural areas, closeted MAGA vote, and then closeted woman vote in terms of like, kind of feeling free. Also keep in mind abortion was actually nationwide except for Ohio, and we know the crazy stuff going on over there now, but everywhere else the biggest searched issue was actually abortion. So, terms like husband vote, partner vote, spouse vote, all peaking on Google Trends the day after the debate. So, really some big news going on here. But the fact that Kamala Harris is making these surges in red areas is pretty insane. I mean, we kind of all, a lot of people expected, I guess not me, I didn't expect this, but a lot of people expected there's going to be this kind of big surge for her in these GE, in the national polls and that kind of stuff. But in the red states, I think a lot of people probably didn't expect it. So, leave your theorems down below. Leave your anecdotal experience. If you have any MAGA family members, if you yourself, maybe you're a closeted MAGA voter, you're on sort of like a private YouTube account, an anonymous one that people don't know, let me know your experience. Let all of us know, because we are at this point, kind of trying to figure out how is this possible that she's surging like this. The polls could be maybe wrong because the September ones were wrong last time for these same pollsters, but their October ones were really good, the last ones. But the hope is that they're sort of retaining that goodness that they had at the end of October for now. But yeah, definitely let me know down below in the comment section.